You guys are so lucky. I care enough about you. I was just rolling, right? Like I was rolling with great intention and like going and writing and thinking and researching and doing all of the things, right? All of the things. And I was like, bro, I could just keep going. I could just keep going. It's like, no, we need to get live so that they can join us as we go through this process. So, hey, we're gonna dive right into today's episode of hashtag Rise and Grind. I was actually supposed to be live, and let me make sure. I was supposed to be live from my studio in Lexington. Make sure that's not giving me any fits. I was supposed to be live from my studio in Lexington, and I was actually leaving and walking out the door. 4:40 is about what time I leave here. Get to the studio around 4:50, 4:55, somewhere right in there. Walk up to my office, build out the show. Takes me about a half hour to build out a full production episode of hashtag Rise and Grind. So I normally build out the show, and then after building out the show, I go live at 5:30, and then 6 o'clock, I head back to the house where I'm meeting up with my son, my daughter. We're doing all our morning routine stuff, so on and so forth. And so that was the plan this morning, and everything was going to plan, so like I got up at 3:50 this morning, which I don't know why. I really don't know why. Maybe it's because I was on Sabbath week last week, but I still got up early every day and did the show. I don't know why, but all of a sudden, 3:50 just sounded absurd. I don't know why. I really cannot explain to you. Those of you that are all popped in here, do me a favor, tag all your friends, all the people that you know. I just got a message, somebody's trying to look for the show, they can't find the show, et cetera, et cetera. So for some reason, it hit me today that like 3:50 a.m. is absurd. Like if you really think about it, that is an absurd time to wake up every day. Mary Lynn, it's absurd. I'm just being honest, it's absurd. Not saying we're gonna change it. That's not what I'm saying at all. Hi Liza, I had a dream about you last night, and so I will share that with you a little bit later. It was interesting because we had a retreat recently, 800% Club retreat. Tim Story was there, and Tim Story, while he was speaking, he's like, "Oh, you guys are listening to these people. They're telling you that you need to get up at 3 a.m. Who's telling you you need to get up at 3 a.m.? That's crazy." And John Paul jumped in, JP, and he was like, Glenn, Glenn's the one that tells us to get up early. So I thought it was super funny because I don't actually tell anyone to get up at the absurd time that I wake up in the morning. I don't tell anybody to do that. Now I have to get up. I choose to get up at 3:50 a.m. because it's so incredibly important that I have time for gratitude. I have time for goals. I have time for prayer. I have time to write a show. Like I'm live at 5:30 a.m. every day. Mary Lynn Wilkin and those folks over on Breakfast with Champions are live at 5 a.m. every day, right? So yeah, I personally need to get up at 3:50 a.m. But I don't think most people do. But anyways, the whole point is, for some reason it just felt absurd, right? It just felt absurd. So got up at 3:50 a.m., came downstairs, gratitude goals. I use my remarkable gratitude goals. I write down the words good morning. I start writing the show, so on and so forth. I write the show. I pack up. I head upstairs. I go outside where it's 44 degrees this morning, by the way. I go outside. I jump in my daughter's new Chevy EV Blazer. The reason I chose her Chevy EV Blazer is because there was an app on my phone that allowed me to warm her car up to exactly 72 degrees. So I didn't have to worry about being cold this morning. So threw her car on 72 degrees, got done with all my stuff, got upstairs, went outside, got in the EV, started driving, hit the interstate. Oh no, hold up. And then when I hit the interstate, oh no, stop. When I hit the interstate, I was reminded that my kids, so we have like a chore chart, and the kids can earn stars by doing chores, right? They do chores, they earn stars. And then once they get these stars, they can trade in those stars for stuff, right? You get a certain amount of stars, you can trade it in for stuff. And so every Saturday, they get to go trade in their stars for stuff. And so yesterday, Fisher and Meredith both chose, they wanted a Starbucks run. They traded in their chore points for some Starbucks stuff. Now, my kids don't drink caffeine, but just so you know, some Starbucks stuff. So Meredith last night wrote down on a piece of paper her order from Starbucks and Fisher's order from Starbucks, because I was supposed to go to the studio and then do today's show, and then on my way back pick up the Starbucks. And so I jump in the EV, Chevy Blazer, EV, powered to 100% because of the charger we got at the house. So I jump into the EV, I am headed down the way, I make it to the interstate, and then I realize, oh my gosh, I don't have the kids' order for Starbucks. So I turned back around this morning. Now at this point, you know, it's already 5:05. I'm supposed to be at the office by now. So I turn around, I come back to the house, I'm looking for this. I had set it right next to like where all my stuff is, and it wasn't there. So my guess is one of them decided to put it somewhere they thought Dad would remember it, versus me putting it where I knew I would get it. So anyway, so I run around the house for 10 minutes trying to find this document, couldn't find it, realized what time it is, and I'm like, uh-oh, it looks like we're going live from the basement today. That's what's happening. We're going live from the house. We're not going live from the studio, because 18 days ago, I started a 90-day #unrecognizable challenge. And what I challenged myself to do every single day is truly, in all of my actions, put God and family first. 21 days ago, 20 days ago, I would have been like, oh well, the kids moved the piece of paper, Dad's gotta go, I'm doing my show, #RiseAndGrind's more important, I can get them Starbucks tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. That's what would have happened 21 days ago. But today it was like, nope, kids, family, God first. #RiseAndGrind, 800% club, all the other stuff, second, third, fourth through 16 million, right? So I'm just telling you all that because we got a great show today. And we are coming live from the basement. Originally, we were supposed to be in the studio.
Good morning and welcome to #Rise and Grind, the #1 morning show in the world filled with motivation, education, and inspiration. I am your host, Glenn Lundy, husband to 1, father to 8, and the founder of the 800% Club, the club designed to help you unlock your full potential. Each episode is filled with celebrity interviews, inspiring conversations, and the strategies you need to get ahead in your career and your life. So grab your pen and turn up the volume, because it's time to rise and grind.
Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? Dude, today is Monday. That's right, today is Monday, October... yeah, we're in October, man. Today is Monday, October 20th, 2025. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be Monday, October 20th, 2025. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most, and I do mean the absolute most, of this absolutely incredible day. Hey, I'm coming to you live from Lexington, Kentucky, where not only is today Monday, October 20th, 2025, but today is also 791 days until my 50th birthday. 791 days until my 50th birthday, and I know You don't care about my 50th birthday. What's that got to do with you? But it has everything to do with me. It has absolutely everything to do with me. 791 days left to follow through on my word and a promise that I made to my wife 7.5 years ago. I made a promise to my wife. I guess it'll be 7 years. Oh my gosh, what is today? October 20th? Exactly seven years and 1 week ago. 7 years and 1 week ago, I decided to quit my job. Very high paying, very high profile, very secure job. I decided to quit that job so that I could go into, I don't even want to say go into business. I didn't know what I was going to do at the time. I quit that job so that I could follow what I believe God was putting on my heart. Hands down, that's the only way to word it. 7 years ago, I heard God say, follow me. And I've done that. And when I did that, I made a promise to my wife. I said, hey, honey, if you'll just fight with me through this next journey, because it will be a journey, if you'll fight with me through this next journey on my 50th birthday, I promise you, we will be in a position financially, spiritually, physically, all of those things. We will be in a position where you can choose what life looks like moving forward. If my wife says to me on my 50th birthday, if she says, honey, I never want you to go to work again. She wouldn't say that because she doesn't like me that much. But if she were to say it, we as a family are going to be in a position where that's her choice. If she made that choice, like I said, I don't think she would, but who knows? Maybe she will. So I got 791 days left. I have 791 days left to set me, my wife, my family up for the next 70 years. That's what I'm going to call it, right? Bible says we can live to be 120 years old. So 50 to 120, that's 70 years. 70 years, we have to be in a position where if she wants us to sit on the couch and hang out, then that's what we'll do, right? Because for the last 20 years, going on 20 years that we've been together, it's been go, 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 go. So I don't know. But today there is 791 days to my 50th birthday, and I can feel it, just so you know. I can feel the countdown pressure, right? It's like, okay, we ain't got much time. We got to figure this out, right? Today is also 72 days, in case you didn't know, until 2026. 72 days until 2026, if you can believe it. All that's left of 2025. 72 days. Now, in those 72 days, we have Halloween. In my house, we have Oakland's birthday. In my house, we have Grandpa's birthday. In my house, we have Gigi's birthday. In my house, we have my birthday, 48th, by the way, December 20th. We also have my mom's birthday. And in the next 72 days, we also have my wife's birthday. And in the next 72 days, we also have Caroline Dawn's birthday. My 4-year-old, she'll be 5. So, and did I mention Christmas? I forgot to mention Christmas. How did I forget to mention Christmas? Oh, and I forgot to mention Thanksgiving. I guess I didn't write those down. I thought about those this morning, but I didn't write them down. So we have Halloween, Oakland's birthday, Grandpa's birthday, Thanksgiving, Gigi's birthday, my birthday, Christmas, my mom's birthday, my wife's birthday, Caroline's birthday. Shoo, bro. Next 72 days is going to be nuts. Not to mention, we also have property taxes that are due on quite a big house. It's always a big bill. We also have our end of fiscal year, right? We have our end of the fiscal year conversations, end of fiscal year conversations, and making sure that, financially we need to, a lot of times for those of you that don't own your own businesses, it's interesting, like this time of year, you got to figure out, do I actually need to go spend some money, right? Do I need to spend some money so that I can reduce my tax liability? Like, I know it sounds weird, but it's just something you got to think about towards the end of the year. And then also these last 72 days is a big reflection season, right? It's a big reflection season because, as I'm sure you're all experiencing, you've got all of the leaves out your windows as we're going into fall, except for Florida. Florida didn't really change, right? And winter is ahead, full speed. Winter's ahead. So this is definitely a season for reflection. We find lots of people tend to reflect as we kind of pull a little bit more indoors. We don't have as much freedom outdoors as things get a little bit colder, to where we choose to drive the Chevy EV Blazer that we can set at 72 degrees instead of the Toyota Tundra, right? It's a good season for reflection. Now in 2026, which is coming up in 72 days, in case I didn't tell you that already, the clock is going to reset, right? The clock is going to reset, and it'll be 2026 AD. 2,000 years roughly, right? 2,000 years after the birth and the death of Jesus Christ. And you see, I'm always fascinated by that. I know that I'm a little different in a lot of ways, but I also know that you and I we have a lot of similarities, or we wouldn't be on this frequency, right? Like, we wouldn't be able to see each other. Do you realize that? Like, you wouldn't be able to hear me if you're not on the same frequency as me. But I am always fascinated by this AD notation that is connected to our entire timeline. Because just over 2,000 years ago, I want you to think about this. Hang with me this morning, please. Just over 2,000 years ago, what's up, Nate? Good to see you, buddy. Just over 2,000 years ago, we're going to dance here in just a second. I'll say good morning to all of you, all right? Just over 2,000 years ago, our entire timeline split when, as the Bible says, he split the veil, right? Ascended, Jesus ascended into the heavens. He died and then rose again, right? And to honor him, I don't know if you knew this or not. What's up, Almir? Great to see you. How you doing, Antonio? To honor Jesus dying on the cross and rising again, there was a monk, M-O-N-K, there was a monk named Dionysius Exiguus. And Dionysius Exiguus decided it was time to stop honoring the Roman regime that had been in place for thousands of years. It was time to stop honoring the Roman regime by using CE was the title. They didn't have BC till later, okay? So it used to be CE, Caesar's emperor time, right? And then it went from CE to AD, and then they added BC to completely eradicate CE. So to think about that. So to honor Jesus going to the cross and dying and rising again, a monk named Dionysius Exiguus decides it's time to stop honoring the Roman regime, and he created an all-new system. He created an all-new system. This man didn't even live at the same time as Jesus, by the way, just so you know. So I'm just always fascinated by this AD thing. And I sometimes ask myself, I'm like, dude, can I live my life in such a way that it leaves a lasting impact? Can I live my life in such a way that it leaves a lasting impact? I ask myself that question all of the time. All of the time. And my guess is, you and I are on the same frequency. You wouldn't be able to hear me if you weren't. My guess is you probably ask yourself that question too. Can I live my life in such a way that it leaves a lasting impact? I ask myself that all the time. But never once have I asked myself if I could live my life in a way that it transforms all of humanity on a global scale for the next 2,000 years and beyond. I've never asked myself that question. I never have. Glenn, can you live your life in such a way that it makes a massive impact on all of humanity on a global scale for the next 2,000 years and beyond? I've never asked myself that question, and to be honest, if I were to answer that question, my response would be, I don't think so. And because of that, dude, I simply cannot help but admire the life and works of Jesus Christ. I just simply cannot. I cannot ignore him. I cannot disregard him. I cannot take him out of the conversation. I cannot remove him from the equation. And so listen, I know some people do not believe in him. I get that. But me, bro, I do. I believe in Jesus Christ. I do. And so I study him. And here's probably, as I study him, here's probably what I love most about Jesus. You ready? What I love most about Jesus is he is, I should say, but I should probably say he was, but I'm saying he is. He is a rebel. Jesus bucked the system. Jesus stood for what he believed in. And he did it with clarity of words and a big, tremendous heart. Jesus stood for what he believed in, but he did it with clarity of words and love. Think about that. Clarity of words and love. I think about that, and then I look at today's society and today's leaders and people that we have out there, bucking the system or wanting to rebel, people that are standing for what they believe in, right? There are a lot of people standing for what they believe in right now, but he did it with clarity of words and love. Is that how you would describe current climate? That when people stand for what they believe in, are they standing for what they believe in with clarity of words and with love, or is your experience like mine, where it seems like there's just chaos and confusion and a lot of hate and division, right? So Jesus motivated, educated, and inspired others, but more importantly, he knew what he believed in. And the question that I have for you today and this week is, do you? Do you know what you believe in, bro? Do you know what you truly believe? I was having a conversation with Grant Cardone last year before I went down there. I was thinking about it, man. I never released that content. I have that content somewhere. 2 hour meeting with Grant Cardone. Yeah, Jesus had that unfair advantage of being God and all. Yeah, Mike. And I was telling him how, like, as I've gotten a little bit older, the world's kind of turned upside down. Things that I used to believe, I no longer believe. I am starting to, my eyes are being opened, and I was telling Grant, like, I've reached a point where I'm like questioning everything. And he said, that's good. He said, but you have to make sure to go to the next level. And I said, what do you mean what's the next level? He said, you can't just walk around in a state of questioning everything. You have to question everything to lead you to a state where you know what you believe. Like, you have to be so clear on what you believe in order to be able to move through that. And see, I think that's been a struggle for me, and maybe for some of you. It's kind of confusing out there, so on and so forth. But there's an old saying, right? What does the saying say? It says, if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything, right? Is that what it says? If you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything, or something like that. Anyways, you guys get what I'm saying, right? And so this week, I want you and I to gain some clarity around what we believe. Because we can do our morning fives, and that's going to transform our lives, and we can show up and be motivational and educational and inspirational, and that's awesome. And we can be rebels, and we can buck the system. We can do research, and we can dig into all of the different aspects of so on and so forth, and we can do all of those things and kind of draw to some of our own conclusions. But none of it's going to matter if we don't all together get very clear on what we believe, figure out how to speak that clearly to others, and do it with love. That's the challenge this week. If you'll come with me, it's going to be a fun journey. I'm going to share with you this week all the things that I believe. All the things. I am going to share with you this week all of the things that I believe. And I'm going to continue to work on getting clarity on exactly what that is. But I want you to join me. We'll have some fun. We'll walk through these things very, very, very clearly. And by the end of the week, my hope is that you and I can go out into the world stronger, more confident, that we can use our platforms and our leadership, and we can use our voices and all of those things to be an example, right? This morning, I was supposed to go to the studio. I didn't go to the studio because I told my kids last night, I told my kids that if they gave me that piece of paper, I was going to get them their little Starbucks run. That was my word to them. And so I couldn't find a piece of paper. I took all the time. I'm doing the show from the basement. As soon as I get off of here, I'm going to go back upstairs. I'm going to try to find this piece of paper because I told my kids this is what I'm going to do. And therefore, I need to be an example of doing that. You and I have a responsibility and an obligation. There are other people that are counting on you and I. So we have got to be the type of people. You and I need to be, right? You and I need to be the type of people that say what they mean and mean what they say. We need to be the type of people where our words and our actions are aligned. We need to be like Jesus. It's okay to be a rebel. It's okay to buck the system. But we need to be able to speak our beliefs with clarity and with love. And so I want us to work on that this week. Listen, I told you do some dancing. We'll do it right here at the end of the show, and then we're out of here. So for those of you that know and those of you that don't know, is that loud enough? I don't think so. I'm going to bring it up just a little bit. All right, there you go. All right, I told you we'd do some dances, so we're going to do it right here at the end of the show, and then we're going to get out of here. For those of you that know, And those of you that don't know, this is the part of the show normally where I'd tell you to hit the share button, but today it's the end of the show, so go ahead and share it out just in case you haven't already. This is also the part of the show where I want you to say good morning to me. I want to say good morning to you. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on replay, drop a good morning in the comments. I will say good morning to you. I look these things up later at night. Last night I was on there watching the football game, responding to comments, so make sure you drop a comment in there. I would greatly appreciate it. So tell me a good morning, and then I'm going to send you out for your day. Patricia Frudenberg, thanks for being here this morning. I appreciate you. Maria Lind, thanks for being here this morning. Denny Rust, great to see you. Wendy Reeves, great to see you. Wes Storm, thanks for being here. Kat Perez, thanks for being in the building. Sean Weatherby, let's go. Thanks for being here. Marilyn Wilkin in the building. Trisha Rue, what up Trisha Rue? We got Trisha Rue in the building. Paul Brindley, what's up, bro? Mr. Mike Strong, thank you so much for being here. I greatly, greatly appreciate you. Bella Rigby is in the building. Linda Huber, what happens if what you believe other people crucify you with the lies? We'll talk about that this week, Linda. We will talk about just that. Marilyn Wilkins says, I won't ever believe the same as many, but I can definitely get more clear on how to articulate. I just avoid it. Yeah, I know. We're not avoiding it anymore, Marilyn Wilkins. We are not avoiding it anymore. Like we can't just walk like that. We can't. This will be a good week for you. Wendy Reeves, thanks for being here this morning. Thank you for being here. Young Johnson, what up, my man? Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. A few years ago, you had a message about being impeccable with our words. Yes, it's super, super, super important. Yes, I understand, Linda. We'll walk through that this week. Robin Wilshans, thank you for being here. I greatly appreciate it. Mr. Mike Larkin, thanks for being in the building. Jeremy Nolling, what's going on, man? Verlin White, good morning. Spencer Nicholson, good morning. Let's go. Sonia Merritt, good morning, Sonia Merritt. Thanks for being here. Sarah Green is in the building. How you doing? Soul Salcedo, Keith Adams, Justin College, my man, praying for that baby girl every day. Rich Pintrick in the building. Renee Hayes is in the building. Michelle Gravely is up in here today. Golly, we had a packed house today. Thank you guys so much for being here. You guys are amazing. Brooke, hi Brooke, great to see you. This is gonna be a really fun week for you, Brooke. You're gonna love it this week here on hashtag Rise and Grind. All right, I'm gonna get out of here and go find this menu order, and I'm gonna drive over to Starbucks and pick my kids up their stuff, and then come back here, wake Joel up. He'll do his gratitude and goals. Him and I are gonna work out together. Then we'll go out and do some soccer drills. That's right, Corey, what's up, man? Then we'll do some soccer drills, and then Savannah and I sit down at 7:30. 7:30 to 8 o'clock is her window, and then I'll jump in the shower and head to the office. So, big day ahead. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you know, if nobody's told you yesterday, I want to be the first. I absolutely stinking love you. Clarity and love. Jesus was a rebel who bucked the system, who stood for what he believed in, and ultimately lived a life in such a way that it made a profound impact on all of humanity. Profound impact on all of humanity, globally. Clarity of words and love. We'll talk about it this week. All right, see you, gotta go. Peace.
It's 5:30 a.m. and the world's awake. Glenn Lundy in the house, no time